Hello students, good morning to all. So we were doing P block elements unit 2, in which in the last two videos we discussed about the general properties of group 15 elements. Then we started with the hydrides of group 15 elements. Out of the hydrides we have already discussed trihydrides, and now we are discussing some important hydrides of group 15 elements, out of which we have already discussed about ammonia. Now the second hydride which is important out of group 15 elements is hydrazine. Hydrazine is having the general formula of N2H4. It from ammonia, if we replace one hydrogen with NH2 group, then it becomes hydrazine. Its preparation method is given by Raschig, also known as Raschig's method. It is used for both the purposes, commercial and laboratory scale. So in this reaction, what is done is ammonia is reacted with sodium oxychloride, or we can say it is reacted with sodium hypochloride, and we get hydrazine as a product in the presence of aqueous alkali and small amount of glue and gelatin. This reaction actually takes place in two steps. In the first step, ammonia is reacted with sodium oxychloride to give chloramine and sodium hydroxide. And then in the second step, chloramine is NH2Cl. In the second step, chloramine is reacted further with ammonia in the presence of alkali itself to give hydrazine and NaCl and water. So in this reaction, an undesirable reaction which is very rapid also takes place. That the chloramine formed in the first step reacts with the hydrazine, which is the final product of our reaction, thereby decreasing its yield. So this undesirable rapid reaction can be controlled by the presence, can be suppressed by the presence of glue and gelatin that we add along with the alkali. So this is the purpose of adding glue or gelatin, that it suppresses the undesirable reaction, and also it catalyzes the first and second step to increase the yield of hydrazine. Now coming to the physical property, it is colorless fuming liquid with faint ammoniacal odor. It is soluble in water and alcohol. It melts at 2 degrees Celsius. It is hygroscopic in nature. Hygroscopic means it absorbs water easily. It resembles with water in many of its properties. Now coming to the chemical properties, hydrazine is a stable compound, but its heat of formation is positive. That means for its synthesis we need to supply some heat. It burns in air. In comparison to ammonia, ammonia burns in air with difficulty, but N2H4, that is hydrazine, burns in air with the evolution of large amount of heat. So this is a very important thing, that it is having a potential, that it is a potential candidate which can be used as rocket fuel, as the byproducts are water and nitrogen. Nitrogen is unreacted and water is produced. This reaction, when it is burned in oxygen, in the presence of oxygen, it produces large amount of heat. So this heat can be used as a potential candidate for rocket fuels. Next is its basic character. This hydrazine is diacidic base. It acts as a diacidic base. NH2 is its formula. It reacts with, when we say something is diacidic base, then that means it is neutralized with 2 moles of acids. So it will react with 2 moles of HCl in a sequential reaction to produce this compound. It also reacts with alkali metals to produce hydrogen gas. Further is the reaction of hydrazine with nitrous acid. With nitrous acid, when we react hydrazine with nitrous acid, it gives us hydrozoic acid. This is the important reaction for the preparation of hydrozoic acid. That it is one of the preparation method for hydrozoic acid, which we will be doing further. The next compound for the to be discussed under the category of hydrides of nitrogen is hydrozoic acid. So this is one of the preparation method for hydrozoic acid, that when hydrazine is reacted with nitrous acid, it produces hydrozoic acid. Next is that hydrazine is a powerful reducing agent. Reducing character of hydrazine. It can reduce salts of different metals like platinum chloride, gold chloride, silver nitrate. It can reduce all these salts to pure metallic forms. It can also reduce failing solution, which is blue in color, to cuprous oxide, which is red in color. We get red precipitates for failing solution with aldehydes. So here hydrazine can also reduce cuprous blue colored solution of failing to cuprous oxide, that is reddish brown colored solution will be obtained. It can also reduce ferric chloride to ferrous chloride. It is ferric chloride, it is reacted with hydrazine, it get reduced to ferrous chloride. It can also reduce iodates to iodide. Iodates are having iodine in +5 oxidation state. It can reduce iodine to iodidine, where it is having -1 oxidation state. It can also reduce halogens to halogen acids, where oxidation state changes from 0 to -1. So it is also reduction. In the reducing action of hydrazine, it itself get oxidized to dinitrogen. So when it is reacted with any oxidizing agent, say it reacts with H2O2, which acts as oxidizing agent, where it will act as a reducing agent, we will get N2. We will, out of the oxidation of N2H4, N2H4 will get oxidized to dinitrogen, and H2O2 will will reduce to H2O. As oxidizing agent undergoes reduction and reducing agent undergoes oxidation. Now coming to the structure of hydrazine, it resembles to that of H2O2. It is very much similar to the structure of H2O2, where nitrogens are directly bonded with single bond and 2 hydrogens are attached to each nitrogen. So this is the structure of hydrazine. Reducing action and synthesis of hydrozoic acid from hydrazine are 2 important things out of hydrazine, and along with its preparation, that is via the Reschig's method. These are the important topics out of hydrazine. Now coming to the next hydride, that is hydrozoic acid. It is acidic in nature. So far we have done 2 hydrides, ammonia and hydrazine. Both were basic compounds. Now next compound is hydrozoic acid, which is acidic in nature. This is not an oxy acid, as hydrogen is not directly bonded to any oxygen. Oxygen is not present in the molecule of hydrozoic acid. So it is not an oxy acid of nitrogen, but it is acidic. So its preparation is done from sodamide but for sodamide, we prepare sodamide by the action of sodium metal on ammonia. When it is reacted with ammonia, the sodium metal is reacted with ammonia, we get sodamide. We get the formation of sodamide with the release of large amount of hydrogen gas. And when the hydrogen gas stops coming out, after all the hydrogen has been evolved, then what happens is, then we pass the current of N2O. N2O is nitrous oxide. So sodamide then is reacted with N2O at 190 degrees Celsius. We will get sodium azide, which is sodium salt of hydrozoic acid. This sodium azide is further heated with 50% H2SO4 to get hydrozoic acid. This is how hydrozoic acid is prepared from sodamide. Second preparation we have already done for hydrozoic acid, that is from hydrazine. Next are the physical properties of hydrozoic acid. It is low boiling, colorless liquid. All the hydrides we have done so far are colorless liquids. So it is highly explosive and toxic, and it is having unpleasant odor. Next are the chemical properties. It is acidic in nature. It can ionize as H positive, N3 negative. N3 negative is called as azide ion. As it is acidic, it will react with bases to give the formation of salt of hydrozoic acid. Sodium salt of hydrozoic acid will be formed, that is sodium azide will get Also, it reacts with hydrozoic acid reacts with metals to give salts, azide salts of those metals. Now these are the azide salt of alkali metal or transition metals. These are not explosive, but azides of heavy metals like mercury, lead, barium, these are used as detonation caps because of their explosive nature. These are highly explosive. Azides of mercury, lead, which are prepared in this way only. This is how these metals are reacted with hydrozoic acid and will get azides of these metals. So these azides are very much explosive. So these are used as detonation caps. This is very important application of hydrozoic acid. Detonation caps are the caps used with the highly explosive material to just initiate the explosive reaction. So firstly, initiation of the explosive reaction will be done from the detonation caps, which are made of these heavy metal azides. Next we have it. This hydrozoic acid can be used as both oxidizing and reducing agent. It can be reduced, that means it can oxidize ammonia. It can be reduced to ammonia and or hydrazine using reducing agents like PTH2. It can undergo reduction as well as it can undergo oxidation. It will be oxidized to dinitrogen with cerium 4 or KMnO4, which are highly strong oxidizing agents. So it can both be oxidized and reduced. This is the structure of hydrazine, where 3 nitrogens are directly bonded to each other with single bonds. Not with single bonds, 3 nitrogens are directly bonded and one of the nitrogen is directly bonded to hydrogen with single bond. Here these are the 3 resonating structures for azide ion, where Lewis dot structure has been shown, 3 resonating structures, and the actual structure would be the resonance hybrid of all these 3 structures. Next hydride to be discussed here is phosphine, which is a hydride of phosphorus. This is also a trihydride. So preparation of trihydrides we have already done. Structure also we have already discussed when we discussed the trihydrides. Now coming to the physical property, this is also colorless. So far the hydrides which we have done are all colorless. It is highly poisonous, but it is a gas. Phosphine is a gas with unpleasant smell. Now coming to the chemical properties, this is very important reaction, that when any metal salts are reacted with phosphine, we will get the phosphides of those metals. Here copper sulfate is reacted with phosphine and what we get is cupric phosphide, which is black in color. These are the characteristic color of the phosphides of different metals. Silver nitrate, when reacted with phosphine, we get black colored silver phosphide. This is black in color. This is a very important reaction for the point of view that silver can be prepared out of this reaction. This silver phosphide further reacted with AgNO3, that is silver nitrate, and water to give pure silver. So this is an important reaction for the preparation of silver. Next are the uses of phosphine. The most important use for phosphine is it is used for preparing Holmes signals. Holmes was a scientist. It is named after this method is named after its founder, that is Holmes. So what are Holmes signal? This is used for ships to locate rocks in the sea. Whenever people travel through ships, when they need light to locate the rocks present on their way, what they do is they create light there in the sea water using Holmes signals. What is done there is, what they do is mixture of calcium phosphide and calcium carbide. Mixture of both calcium phosphide and calcium carbide is taken in a vessel which is having a hole. A vessel is taken containing calcium phosphide and calcium carbide in which a hole is present, and when they come in contact, this is thrown into the seawater. They come in contact with water. When they come in contact with water, a reaction takes place. Calcium phosphide will get converted to phosphine and calcium carbide will get converted to acetylene. Phosphine will catch fire once it comes in contact with air, and it is having a smoky flame. When it burns, it is having a smoky flame, but in turn it will light up acetylene, which just needed the trigger given by the phosphine. So in result, what they get is large amount of light is produced. So this light is used to see whether there are rocks present on the way of the ship or not. So this helps them a lot, while so that based upon these signals they can reroute their direction, they can change their direction while traveling in the sea. Now the next application is, we have already discussed that it is used to prepare smoke screens for warfares. As we have already discussed that phosphine burns in air to give smoky flame, smoke. So this is used to produce smoke screens. Next hydride of phosphorus is diphosphine. It is made of phosphine only. While synthesizing phosphine, diphosphine is formed in C2 in that reaction only as an impurity. It is separated from there by passing the gaseous mixture. The gaseous mixture which is obtained while synthesizing phosphine is passed through freezing mixture. So diphosphine condenses there and we get pure phosphine, or the condensed diphosphine can be collected from there, which is pure in form. This gas is also highly inflammable and causes explosion with air. This is the formula for diphosphine, that is P2H4. So it gets converted to phosphorus and phosphine when it is reacted with air. Further, phosphine undergo oxidation and it get converted to P2O5. It, just like hydrogen, it also acts as reducing agent, as it reacts with oxygen and it undergoes oxidation and it reduces oxygen to water. This is a structure of phosphine which is very much similar to hydrogen. So this is all about hydrides of group 15 elements. We have done 5 important hydrides, that is ammonia, hydrogen, hydrozoic acid, phosphine and diphosphine. Preparations you have to do for all of them. The important properties which I have mentioned, that those are important, and the structures are also important. I have already mentioned what things are to be done for sure and what things you can skip, but in these notes I have already cut shortened in comparison to book. So it will be better that you prepare the complete data given in these notes, at least for P block elements. That's it for this video. In the next video we'll starting with oxides of group 15 elements. Thank you.